Hi, this is Kevin Deal from Upscale Audio. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite things, tube amplifiers, and not just any tube amplifier, a smoking deal on the premier brand of tube amplifiers, the PrimaLuna ProLogue Four. Look, people ask me, is it truly a PrimaLuna because the price is so great? And I go, yes. There's no magic to this. We had the ability to get a handful of these, offer them at a phenomenal buy. God bless you. God bless everybody. I'm happy. I don't have to make that much money on them. I just wanted to be able to offer somebody something special that maybe they just dreamed of owning, because there's so many people that want to own a PrimaLuna, but maybe they just can't quite get up the scratch. Look, this amplifier is 35 watts per channel with the L34s. You can run any tubes you want in it, all the way up to KT120s. That means EL34, KT88, 6550, EL37, KT66, KT120s, not KT150s, but who cares? Being able to run all those other ones is going to keep you busy. We're not concerned with it having a ton of power. You don't want high power coming out of tubes, because that means a short tube life. PrimaLuna is known for running the tubes just barely above the point where you don't go into what's called crossover distortion. In other words, the tubes are just cruising. This could have been a much higher power amp. Just tweak up the bias and the plate voltage and run the shit out of tubes, but they don't do that. What makes it so special? Let's look inside. This is a point-to-point wired PrimaLuna. It is a classic. Look, this has the same basic design as all the other PrimaLuna amps. They are all based on the same design. They all have a trademark sound to them. It has point-to-point wiring. There's no printed circuit boards in the signal path. If you take a tube socket and mount it to a PCB, at some point you're going to have a problem with it. It's just a horrible way to make things. But instead, PrimaLuna takes the tube sockets, bolts them onto this fully ventilated panel. They're ceramic tube sockets, and then they're wired in by hand. 20 years from now, this amplifier is going to be rocking your world. Adaptive auto bias. Adaptive auto bias is not just about making your life easy, though it certainly does do that. You don't have to bias tubes ever. You don't have to worry about match tubes. In fact, you could run 3 EL34s in this amp and then plug in a KT120 and nobody would know any difference, because adaptive auto bias is that smart. But what it's really about is improving performance. When tubes get old, one of them is going to get soft before the other ones do. And adaptive auto bias is going to see that, and it's going to work really hard to make sure that you're not even aware of it. The tubes are monitored in real time. They are adjusted to stay in their perfect linear position. Now, what happens if a tube does short? On other amplifiers, it can mean a trip to the shop. But on the PrimaLuna, there's a little fuse on the adaptive auto bias board. A tube fails, you replace that fuse, plug in another tube, and you go. Nothing to it. PrimaLuna does not concern themselves with high power, and the reason is they wind their own output transformers. Power has nothing to do with bass response. You need to understand this. Hardcore tube guys know this. Power means nothing because you're only using 3 or 4 or 5 watts when you're listening to music. What you're concerned with is bandwidth. Bandwidth is a function of output transformers, and that is half science and half art. PrimaLuna engineers their own and winds them in-house. Very few companies do. Read all the reviews. They talk about how good the bass response is. Now, talking about transformers, the power transformer right here is a custom wound toroidal transformer. Why a toroid? Because they don't leach sound into the circuitry of the amplifier. They keep things quiet. Manufacturers will rarely use them because they are so expensive to buy. But this toroid is wound in-house. But not only that, it's potted. What does that mean? The transformer is sealed in a non-microphonic epoxy to protect it from the elements and the effects of vibration. Then it's placed into a can. So again, we're dropping noise floor, we're protecting that expensive part. That's why PrimaLuna amps are known for being so quiet. It has 4-ohm tap and 8-ohm taps for speakers. You can run it with anything your little heart desires. Speakers that are 87 dB and up are going to be just fine. If you have speakers that are 86 dB efficient, and if you are the former lead guitar player from Guns N' Roses and you want to make your ears bleed in a big room, this is not for you. But if you have 86 dB efficient speakers and you're in a smaller room and you play music at reasonable levels, then this is going to rock your world. 35 watts is really a ton of power. Look, this amplifier has a 3-year warranty, parts and labor, 6 months on the tubes. It is a joy to listen to. I'm happy that we're able to offer them at such a great deal, and I hope you take advantage of it. Go to our website, give us a call. We got smoking deals. Come to our retail store. We'll always keep you on the sunny side of the street. Thanks for shopping Upscale Audio.